Yep, we gotta talk about Jay-Z. As you know, there's been some allegations against Mr. Sean Carter. And, a lot of people are throwing out the fact that he responded to these allegations so quickly. And people are saying Alex Shapiro's out there, and people are going there looking at Alex Shapiro and who he's defended, and, we get it. But you don't become a billionaire, you know what I'm saying, without having a secret weapon. And that secret weapon is not Alex Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. Big name. I get it. But Jay-Z has managed to procure the services of one of the top, if not, I think it's number one. He has managed to acquire the service of a legal firm that is considered number one of the Fearsome Four by the BTI Consulting Group. What does that mean? No counsel want to meet these people in court, right? And I was able to find, some stuff about them as I was reading about them. And of course, we're gonna get into, you know what I'm saying, how Quentin, I think the name of the it's Quint Emanuel, Quint Emanuel. I think that's Urquhart and Sullivan. That's the law firm. Quinn Emanuel, just remember that. That's the law firm that Ben Shapiro works for. You see what I'm saying? Now, Jay-Z, he had some early legal troubles. Some of y'all, you know what I mean, probably did your research or whatever. And I don't know how far you done went back, but I had to go to my shed, y'all, straight up. Because I remember I had some old magazines that I had kept for some weather damage. Had some flood damage. A lot of my stuff got messed up, whatever. But for the most part, I was able to save some of the magazines. So I ended up going through them joints, and I ended up finding some, and I'm like, man, look at this, y'all check this out. But what I found interesting is I started going through the magazines and reading them. Of course, Vibe magazine is created by Quincy Jones. There was some stuff in there. Boy, man, y'all want to go through these magazines, drop a comment. I flip through these pages with y'all. It is wild, some of the stuff you see. Some of the people getting the idea of what it was like in the 2000s. But anyhow, getting back to it, Jay-Z and his legal problems, right? The early joints. All right, I gotta make sure I stay on point now. All right, so back in '99, as y'all know, the stabbing in the Kit Kat, right? Come to find out, this guy Lance Rivera was bootlegging. He admitted he released it, but he was bootlegging the Volume 3. Jay-Z, Sean Carter, seen him, whisper in the ear, "You broke my heart." And that's when it happened. Now, there was witnesses that said Jay-Z did it, but Lance Rivera said he never said it on the stand. He said he never said it. He cleared Jay-Z's name. I think he did a couple of interviews, but he said it was about 10 dudes around. It was about 10 knives out there. So, he don't know, but it said it happened in his back right shoulder, I believe, something like that. Read a couple of articles about it, but nonetheless, that was back in '99, right? And you fast forward two things. That guy Lance Rivera ended up going from the music business to the movie business. and TV shows. He did the Cookout with Queen Latifah. Something else, he did another joint flashing on the screen. But anyway, he did a transition. So he in Hollywood. And now, because of that situation, I think Jay-Z got like 3 years probation or something like that. But he couldn't leave New York, right? And then fast forward, you look 2 years later, Sean Carter got caught, in the car with some guns, him and some more people, right? And that was around that time everybody remember him going to trial and, the whole I'm not guilty movement, introduced kills, whatever. But in 2001, he got caught with some heat out there. Him and some boys outside of Manhattan nightclub, right? But that wasn't it. It was the turning point was after that right there. His legal team kind of switched. When he acquired them to represent him in a situation with the SEC. Now, the funny thing about it is this wasn't necessarily all over the news, but he did have a battle with the SEC, and just so happened he had acquired the service of Emanuel Quint to deal with this situation. That whole situation was very unique because Jay-Z was facing some serious legal challenges that, if y'all didn't know, is still open to this day. Now, this was in 2018. So in 2018, he had some problems with Rocawear, between Rocawear and I think the name of the company is Iconic brand. Jay-Z sold the rights for like $200 million in 2008. Then the company did some craziness by marking the Rocawear value down. And it led to some problem with the SEC. So the SEC subpoenaed Jay-Z. And Jay-Z and his legal team hit him back. Well, I could think a nice 18-page deposition. I mean, pretty much delayed that whole thing. So he still got that floating over his head, y'all. And then out of that, you run into the situation he got going on now. In 2024, right before the end of the year, I believe there's a lot of celebrities kind of like got their fingers crossed, hoping that they can get out of this year without being exposed. The funny part about it is all of this is going to continue into the new year. And, we have a very short memory, but if you remember last year, we were going through some legal trials and things were pending that wasn't going to be taking place until 2024, earlier this year. And so, there's a couple things I heard about Cat Williams supposed to be going back on Shannon Sharp to continue. That'll be kind of funny. But, we have Sean Carter dealing with the situation of being put alongside Sean Diddy Combs back in 2001. The funny thing about 2001 is, these guys, these young men, as you can tell from their earlier history, that was around the time that Sean Diddy Combs himself had just gotten out of, some legal trouble around the time that Sean Carter caught that gun charge, which he was, like I said, not found guilty. And I hear people talking about, he needs to, the John Doe needs to reveal themselves. And everybody has that right to face their accuser, correct? But the response letter that Sean Carter put out there, everybody read it for yourself. You know what I mean? I'll throw it up on the screen. But the thing about it is, he said, if, I'm summarizing here, this is not a civil situation. This should be a criminal thing. And he wants to take this thing to trial.
Was the idea of being fearsome, was that a decision that something kind of developed over time? How did that come about?
Well, I mean, it's really as a result of your firm. I mean, we had never thought of ourselves in using the word fearsome. We certainly hoped that we were respected. We've been a big believer in the idea that, look, in our world, obviously, most cases don't get tried. Most cases settle. But our experience is that parties don't settle unless they realize it's better to take the deal on the table than to go to court and to actually try the case. And so really, the way to get the best settlements is to be able to convincingly persuade the other side that if they don't take the best settlement that's on the table, or meet the demand, or make an offer, that they're going to lose in the courtroom. That they're going to be concerned about that. They'll be afraid of that result. So the best way to get the best settlements, which is how most cases are resolved, are to convincingly prepare for trial. And that's what we try to do.
Okay. And you make sure the other side knows that you're doing that.
Absolutely. And I think they know that. They know our reputation. They can read about the cases that we try every single month, the results that we get every single month. So we have a reputation, and I think it's one that people know that we can get results in a courtroom.
When you have a legal team that is number one as being in the Fearsome Four, as being number one law firm, you have I think they're number 12 overall. They win, I think, more, if I'm not mistaken, 80%, 86% plus of their cases that go to trial. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why he's saying what he's saying. And I think people just so wrapped up in Shapiro that they don't look at who Shapiro works for. Shapiro may be the point man, but look at the law firm that this man has aligned himself with. And that's how, you know what I'm saying, billionaires do. And if you look into that company, you'll see President Trump then had their services. You know what I'm saying? President Elon Musk then had their Mr. Beast then had their services. You know what I mean? These people are respected. And like I said, you let me know what you think about this law firm. Do you think it mattered that he's considered a fearsome lawyer? Because Tony Bugsby, this man has a history of being attorney of the year, from what I read, and had some big cases up against BlackRock, and I did my research on him. But in a situation like this, do you think he's punching above his weight or punching at his weight? I definitely want justice for whomever justice is needed for. I've seen a lot of situations, ladies and gentlemen, where people have been accused of things and come to find out it's not true. I remember the first thing come to mind, it happened to that baseball player out of New York with that female. It happened to that black Michigan coach. He lost all that bread. I mean, I can go down the line of situations where everybody jumped on board and said that's what it was, and then come to find out that wasn't it was. But the man's reputation is like pretty much over with. And I'm not defending Sean Carter. I'm defending the law. You know what I mean? Our rights as human beings in the court of law due process. And so this is going to be interesting as it is unfold. And another thing that I thought was interesting was the lawsuit that Tony Bugsby filed against that law firm. You know, the days in which the day that he filed it and the day that Sean Carter released that statement. Man, this is all coincidental to me, maybe. But however, if you take the time to read through some of the tactics, man, wow. It's going to be an interesting year, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not over. And we got shit happening in New Jersey with these buses flying, minivans flying in the air, ain't nobody thinking about. But that's why I say, look, we'll see if this thing go to trial for Sean Carter. But I'd like to know what you think. You know what I'm saying? Do you think Sean Carter is going to, you think this trial is going to add to his legacy? Or do you think this right here is more of or do you think, amen, you know, man, you let me know, folks. This your boy Mark on the mic, breaking down stories behind the headline. Peace.